Dr. Fauci, as you are aware, it is a crime to lie to Congress. Section 1001 of the U.S. Criminal Code creates a felony and a 5-year penalty for lying to Congress. On your last trip to our committee on May 11th, you stated that the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And yet, gain-of-function research was done entirely in the Wuhan Institute by Dr. Shi and was funded by the NIH. I'd like to ask unanimous consent to insert into the record the Wuhan virology paper entitled Discovery of a Rich Gene Pool of Bat SARS-Related Coronaviruses. Please deliver a copy of the journal article to Dr. Fauci. In this paper, Dr. Shi credits the NIH and lists the actual number of the grant that she was given by the NIH. In this paper, she took 2 bat coronavirus genes, spike genes, and combined them with a SARS-related backbone to create new viruses that are not found in nature. These lab-created viruses were then shown to replicate in humans. These experiments combine genetic information from different coronaviruses that infect animals but not humans to create novel artificial viruses able to infect human cells. Viruses that in nature only infect animals were manipulated in the Wuhan lab to gain the function of infecting humans. This research fits the definition of the research that the NIH said was subject to the pause in 2014 to 2017, a pause in funding on gain of function. But the NIH failed to recognize this, defines it away, and it never came under any scrutiny. Dr. Richard E. Bright, a molecular biologist from Rutgers, described this research in Wuhan as the Wuhan lab used NIH funding to construct novel chimeric SARS-related coronaviruses able to infect human cells and laboratory animals. This is high-risk research that creates new potential pandemic pathogens that exist only in the lab, not in nature. This research matches, these are Dr. E. Bright's words, this research matches, indeed epitomizes, the definition of gain-of-function research done entirely in Wuhan, for which there was supposed to be a federal pause. Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
Microphone.
Your microphone.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement.
He envisions future dictatorship controlled by elite, millions being killed, mandatory quarantines, checkpoints, the end of the family, everything that's in the other documents. But this dovetails with all the other Rockefeller Foundation documents about the GMO food to sterilize you and the forced vaccines and the hell we're already living in that's just going to continue to intensify until we take our governments back from these eugenics madmen. But that story is up on prisonplanet.com. The question is, will you have the courage to really do the research yourself? Because I don't want you to just sit here and hear me make these claims. These people are so arrogant that they write policy papers, so many of them, that they're producing these policy papers and reports and white papers so fast that you could never read them all. It is an open conspiracy against you and your family. I pray to God, I pray to my Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, every night to give me the strength and the will to be able to face this horror and to give me the strength to carry on, because I know why a lot of you don't want to look at this information and just want to comment on the YouTube videos or on message boards that I'm a liar. I know why, because it's scary.
So what is their end game? We know that Soros and Gates have bought a UK testing facility for COVID so they can control the numbers of the populace of how many people are testing positive for COVID-19. In the United States, the Department of Homeland Security has now put out a training course to prepare for mass public quarantine of unvaccinated rural Americans. They are doing this through the RDPC, or the Rural Development Preparedness Consortium, through a training course called MGT 433. So what is MGT 433? It's titled Isolation and Quarantine for Rural Communities. So what are they preparing? Are they going to isolate rural communities? Here in this PDF downloaded from the website, they talk about how to approach people in rural communities and how to go about putting them in basically FEMA camps or COVID camps. They have Module 1, Module 2, and Module 3, and also Module 4 and 5 of their course to train local law enforcement as well as first responders on just how to round up the populace. Here, you can see on their schedule, July 22nd is their first date for a virtual course. And here again on October 22nd and 23rd in Gaylord, Michigan. D.L. Fifield is one of the first instructors for this course, and he is a Department of Homeland Security federal agent. The next is Glenda Atkinson, who is part of the RDPC as well, and she is up for the October dates. Here is a quick overview of the course description. It consists of an 8-hour instructor-led course that is designed to provide the knowledge necessary to begin planning for the situations of lockdowns. You can see here the targeted audience of this course consists of emergency management and first responders. Right here on their own website, the RDPC is part of the DHS and the FEMA that is also ran out of the Center for Rural Development located out of Somerset, Kentucky. Here is a picture off of Twitter. You can see the correlation of their logo with the front of the building. This center is normally used for a state-of-the-art meeting and convention facility out of Somerset, Kentucky. The CDC has also put out its own white papers called Operational Consideration for Community Isolation Centers for COVID-19 in Low Resource Settings. What do you think of when you hear low resource settings? That sounds like rural development to me. It's time to wake up, people, and smell the coffee. Lockdown 2.0 is coming, and they are preparing for COVID concentration camps through the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA.